your morning dose of coffee and sports. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Some thoughts and comments from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You can make them too. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It's presented by Happy State Bank. Somebody wants to know, Jamie, what video are you talking about? It's courthouse video that basically shows Beard on a Zoom meeting with the judge with regard to his bond, and you can see him standing there. And apparently this is pretty standard procedure now where, you would have somebody on Zoom to meet with the judge. And that video is available to the public. I'm assuming for just about anyone that gets into trouble, and obviously people of prominence, what people are curious about. Mugshot's pretty standard. Right. That's been the case for quite some time. The video of the Zoom is, I guess it's public information or public content since it's done, with public funds. I guess if it was a normal, I guess, courthouse appearance, sometimes the cameras aren't necessarily allowed in, although in some cases they are. But yeah, no, I mean, that's a haunting video that you spoke about. And like I said right before the break, I thought about what you said yesterday with regard to the video. And I think you're spot on that when you see it, it's different than when you read about it or hear about it, just the visual aspect of things. And I think that will, among other things, be a reason why they just can't put him back on the sideline again.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday you just can't help but think about the three daughters, mm-hmm. and just how hard all of that this is going to be on them.
No doubt. No doubt.
I just feel bad for all parties involved, even though ultimately, Chris Beard is getting punished for something he deserves to be punished for. It's just a sad deal.
Well, you have players, you have support staff, you have assistant coaches.
Yeah, I felt bad for the players last night.
Yeah.
I watched a good portion of that game, and they got off to a slow start against Rice, but came back and won it and ended up winning it in overtime. But I just felt bad for those players that the drama that they didn't sign up for,
Yeah.
I guess partly you could say if you sign up to play for a crazy man that you should expect it.
Sure.
We all think he's a little bit crazy, but yeah. I don't know.
So anyway, it'll be interesting to see how quickly that they separate from him, and how that transpires. Somebody says this, as bad as the choking was, I think the evidence of his biting may have been what pushed his job security over the edge. I don't know. I think it's all of it. Also, his suspension didn't come until after the details of her injuries came out. I think the suspension was more about the timeline was so quick. It took a while to get him out of jail, and I'm sure they wanted to have somewhat of a conversation with him or his representatives, before they made that announcement. And getting in front of him probably took some time. I
think you and the texter are both probably right in this one. And probably once they found out
everything,
what her injuries were, I think that was probably a big factor. They're like, okay, we've got to do this, but then they waited until they could get face to face with him or his attorney, whatever.
Yeah. This, as far as Beard coaching again, I think he will be forever blacklisted. I don't know about forever. Somebody will give him a chance.
I just don't know about college basketball for quite some time. To me, he would have to, be gone for a little while, go mm-hmm. repair his career, kind of like your buddy there at the University of Houston, and go to the NBA and be an assistant in the NBA or something, or go coach in a foreign league, and then maybe he'd get a shot somewhere small, 5 years, 6 years, 8 years down the road. I don't know, but it's definitely a change in the career path.
No doubt.
The direction it was going.
I mean, the $5 million a year paycheck it's
probably gone.
Just went away.
Yeah.
We get this. Good morning from Costa Rica. Reckham. Recently relocated, longtime listener. So glad for the Double T 97.3 app. We are so glad to have you from Costa Rica. Yeah, I've never been to Costa Rica. I think that'd be a fun place to visit.
I bet it would.
Mm-hmm. Looked like they got some beaches there, and and things like that.
Some really cool whitewater rafting.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to do that.
Oh, you'd be surprised. You can handle it. All you got to do is stay in the boat. And they're not going to let you go on someplace where you can't stay in the boat.
Okay, then maybe I would. Maybe I would.
Listen to you arguing with Chuck on what he would want to do. You sound like a wife right now.
He would have fun.
Jack.
It would be one of those experiences.
Stop trying to decide what other people would want to do.
That's okay.
It would be an experience that when he walked into, he wouldn't like it, but then got into it and would love every second of it.
6:37 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, somebody has a question about Coach Leach. Sorry, just tuning in, but how's Coach Leach? They have taken him off life support by all reports. So you would have to understand that at some point in time, whether it's this morning or today or tonight, that they'll be announcing the passing of Mike Leach, and that's just incredibly, incredibly sad. Mm-hmm. For so many different reasons, and you wonder about the timeline there. You wonder, okay, has he been in discomfort for some time and just ignored it, like we as guys do sometimes? It's just a little pain in my chest. It'll be all right. I'll take some Pepto. I did read a report that he had spent Saturday night on his couch and had been texting friends. In terms of him being up in the middle of the night, I think anybody that's been even slightly exposed to Mike Leach understands that the guy, he's nocturnal, kind of works at different times, and probably that didn't change from him going to Washington State or Mississippi State from his time here. So while that may not seem abnormal, you just kind of wonder, okay, what led to all this that got him to the point where apparently suffers a massive heart attack and then is, without oxygen to his brain for a period of time that leads to this. It just it goes to it's a tough lesson about listening to your body. And sometimes things just happen, and it's, like I said, just incredibly, incredibly sad for him and obviously his family and his grandchildren and his kids. 61 is too damn young.
You're tuned in to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
That's not to say that they don't respect the run game that you have, but you're talking about one quarterback leading the conference in passing so far this year. And remember, he didn't start the first game.
All right.
Still played a lot, though.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
I just don't want to disappoint you. As much as I disappoint you, I don't want to disappoint you in some things that you expect from me.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Man, as strange as yesterday was, I hope today is a little calmer. I mean, yesterday was extremely distracting and just crazy in so many different stretches of it. Today is December the 13th, 2022. Here is Jeff McGuire with this day in sports history.
1936, the National Football League Championship took place. Mm-hmm. Green Bay Packers beat the Boston Redskins 21-6. It was the Packers' fourth title. The Redskins would then move to Washington, D.C. for the 1937 season.
Okay.
1952, NFL Dallas Texans, formerly known as the New York Yankees, play their final game, losing to 41-6 to the Lions in Detroit. They would finish with a record of 1-11. 1956, Dodgers trade Jackie Robinson to the Giants for pitcher Dick Littlefield and $35,000 in cash. Robinson said, watch this. I retire. 1969, we just thought we were done with this. Billy Martin fired by the Minnesota Twins. 1977, 14 University of Evansville basketball players die in a plane crash.
Yes.
The plane was 2 hours late coming into their airport, and they were doing a quick turnaround, and part of the landing procedure was put on locks so that the flaps and the tail rotor wouldn't move. Not tail rotor, the aileron wouldn't move. they didn't get them off when they took back off. So when the plane took off, they had no control over it whatsoever. And it was within 90 seconds of takeoff, the plane crashed. 2018, German basketball forward Dirk Nowitzki takes the court for his record 21st NBA season with the Dallas Mavericks, surpassing Kobe Bryant's 20 seasons with the LA Lakers for the longest NBA career with one single team.
That's awesome. That's a great record to have.
Not sure I've ever had this, although I've seen it a million times. Happy National Popcorn String Day.
Did you ever not string popcorn as a kid?
Never strung popcorn
Did you
as
ever
a
string
kid.
popcorn as a kid?
I never did.
We did. And we strung popcorn and put it on the Christmas tree.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
No.
Like, I've never done it. I've never had it. It's never been on a tree I was around, but I've seen it a million times. Happy birthday to Taylor Swift, who's 33, Jamie Foxx, 55, Dick Van Dyke, 97.
Crazy that he lived that long.
Lives.
Lives.
He's alive.
Still lives. Right. Still lives.
Laughter is
Still
an
alive.
amazing drug, and he's got a lot of laughter in his life. Gleyber Torres is 26. Rex and Rob Ryan are 60. And Bo Pelini is 55.
Crazy that Rex and Rob Ryan are just 60. They look
160.
They do.
And on this day in 2000, 7 convicts break out of a maximum security prison in South Texas, setting off a massive 6-week manhunt. The escapees, dubbed the Texas 7 by the media, overpowered civilian employees and prison guards in the maintenance shop where they were working and stole clothing, guns, and a vehicle. The men left a note saying, "You have not heard the last from us yet." Soon after escaping in the Conley County Unit lockup in Kennedy, Texas, the fugitives picked up another getaway vehicle, allegedly provided by their father of one of the men, and robbed a Radio Shack store in Pearland, making off with cash and police scanners.
Can't do that today.
No, you have to do that at a Wally World.
You have to do it online. You have to rob them online.
6-week manhunt. We'll check back in with them later on this day in sports history.
Okay. 6:51 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Somebody
I
says,
hope the 6 weeks doesn't come on like a Saturday.
If it does, there's one, like Christmas Eve, we won't be here. There's an update on Christmas Eve. I will do that Friday before.
yeah. Somebody says Dallas Texans now Kansas City Chiefs. No, it was a different Dallas Texans team. The Chiefs Dallas Texan version was in the American Football League in the late 50s, early 60s. Was when they moved to Kansas City in 63.
Come on, you got to be smarter than that. Chuck would never be a New York Yankee fan.
Somebody asked about Rick Pitino getting a second chance, and it was fairly fast. Yeah, well, his deal was with Louisville was a escort sex scandal. It was that led to his national championship at Louisville being vacated, which had never happened before. Also involved bribes to recruits, which, today.
Yeah, you can get away with cheating. You can't. I don't think you get away with beating a female
No.
and being arrested.
No.
Patino was never put in jail for anything he did.
Yeah, and yeah, right. So we get this. We've gotten this text. As a woman, I felt sad for him, king of the world, to trash in a matter of minutes. However, as a woman, I was glad to see he didn't get by with it. We loved him here at one time. He shot it all for dollars and fame. That's pretty well said. Pretty well said. 6:52 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that or the mobile app. I saw this last night. The Navy coach, Ken Namatalo, saying that, he was fired almost immediately after their game with Army, in which they lost in double overtime, 20-17. He said he was sitting at his locker by himself when the athletic director, Chet Gladchuk, walked in and fired him. Namatalo says, first of all, we just got kicked in the gut. I was a little bit numb prior to him saying that, so most of it I couldn't comprehend. I'm just like, Chet, why don't you take some time to relax? He said, well, it's been building up. And apparently the goal at Navy was, there's 2 goals, and which he felt like are very realistic. go to a bowl game and win the Commander-in-Chief's trophy, which they haven't done recently. But there's a big difference in terms of what they do at Navy versus Air Force and Army. First of all, none of the Navy guys got a COVID year. All the Navy players their classes don't end until like 3:15, 3:20 in the afternoon. So there's nothing about them that allows them to get out of classes earlier. They have to share their indoor facility with the gymnastics team. And so basically he's playing freshmen and sophomores against 5th and 6th year players. He's not making any excuses. He's just pointing out that he's been trying to get this changed, but apparently the guy in charge of the Navy doesn't want to do that, doesn't want to change any of the rules. And at Navy, you have to graduate in 4 years. So it's a lot of differences between them and even the other service academies. So just unfortunate for him, but crazy that he got fired at his locker like that.
This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, getting you ready for today's sports day.
3 of the first 4 games have been at home. So, at some point in time, you're going to have to venture outside the 806. So that'll start this week.
While having a little fun along the way.
Always good if you can blame it on somebody else, right?
Yeah, sure.
Especially some media guy.
Sure. Right, some media guy.
Catch the show live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
Good morning, it's Tuesday. It's nice to have you with us today on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. Look forward to hearing from you today on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to double-T973.com for that. The mobile app. Benchmark hotline is open as well at 806-771-0973. We have our company Christmas gathering tomorrow. I saw you carrying in your white elephant gift this morning. Is it a good one?
Not telling.
Jeff, have you gotten yours yet?
No, I have not. I was reminded I needed to get one today.
Yeah, no, I have not done that either. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I got 3 options.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing yet. Those 3, but I'm going to do one of them.
You want to run them by us? See?
Nope.
Okay.
I'll tell you what they were tomorrow. Well, after the party, but not before.
Okay.
The whole idea is that you're not supposed to know who it's from.
Right. No, I understand that. And there's a which I've never seen this before. There's a gift for the best white elephant gift. There's a prize for that.
I'm not looking to win any prizes. I just don't. I don't want somebody to end up going home with my gift and being like, "Oh, this is the worst."
Right. Yeah, and I think everybody wants that. And I don't think anybody wants to be the
somebody
worst.
to leave with my gift and feel like, okay, I'm happy to have this.
Yeah.
It may not be their greatest Christmas gift ever, or whatever. So I'm paranoid that, it's not. I don't want somebody to be like, what am I going to do with this thing? You get to the house, you show it to your husband or your wife.
The
like,
fruit
what are we
cake
going
or
to do with
something
that?
Who gave you that?
No, I don't think it's a bad gift.
Did you select it yourself or did the missus?
We did it together.
Did it together. Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow.
But I had an idea of what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think there'll be people in the building that enjoy it. I wouldn't want it.
You you wouldn't want it. Wasn't that part of the key is to get something you feel like that?
Well, no, he's guaranteed not to get his gift, so that eliminates one present up there.
Maybe it's a bottle of Jack Daniels, Chuck.
No, I don't think you would.
Well, maybe it is. I mean, a lot of people here in this building would like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't drink, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it.
No.
But that doesn't mean that I don't think a lot of people would like. I think if I had bought a bottle of Jack Daniels, there'd be people fighting over it. Don't you agree, Jeff?
100%.
No, not like literally fighting over it, but like
right.
stealing it from each other.
I got you.
No, I can see some fist thrown too.
People are like, oh, I want that, or
Yeah.
oh, I want that, or oh, I want that.
I'm taking that from that person.
Yeah.
Probably would be David Thedford. He would want it the most.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that he'd be all in on that.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll report back to you. I don't know that we'll have any shenanigans or anything like that. Seems like that the shenanigans are over with for those kinds of things, right? Like choice eating a bowl of cheese and stuff like that.
I don't know. The only thing I can remember about last year's was fun, but I remember Chuck was in a horrible mood.
I wasn't.
He sat at the end of the table and was mad at all of us.
I was just mad at the world. It was. It was. I should have done better. I don't know why. I was
You were sour.
I was.
And I was trying very hard to cheer him up beforehand.
I know, and that made it worse.
Yeah.
Because I knew what was coming later.
It just made it worse.
Okay, so I'm seeing a trend here. You know, one of the last parties we had in here, Chuck spouted off some words and stormed out. Then this party, where you just don't like being around the rest of us, right?
No, that's not
We're
true.
not highbrow enough to hang out.
That's not true.
You hate being lowered to the level of hanging out with us.
It's just a coincidence. I mean, level just made me mad, and I just responded. And there, unfortunately, were a bunch of people in the room that I wasn't used to. I just responded. I got drawn completely off sides. And then, of course, he exasperated.
You were unabated to the quarterback. You were not offside. You were unabated to the quarterback.
Well, and then, of course, he exacerbated it to like he
did
does.
What?
He elevated it. He pushed it to a higher level than what it really was.
That doesn't sound like something Level would do.
No, not
what
at
are you
all.
talking about? He always is very even keel about things and is always accurate when it comes to employees in the building.
Oh, yeah. Clay wanted to know if I was bringing pizza to the Double T 97.3 Christmas party. No, I'm not. I'm not.
Well,
I'd gone out of my way for him, and then, he basically, calls me out on something. I didn't, I dressed in the dark, and next thing I know, I just spouted words to him, and then I left, and just made me mad. Clearly, right?
no comment.
7:07 this morning here on the morning drive.
Just hope we can somehow have a happy Chuck tomorrow.
I'm gonna try. Try to be in a good mood.
I know it's tough hanging out with us low lives here, the coworkers. We're just all honored to be in your presence, Chuck.
Right. See, no, you're just trying to bait me here. We'll have Red Raider basketball on the air for you tonight. Texas Tech takes on Eastern Washington. It doesn't appear that Daniel Baccio will play. When you heard Coach Adams talking about that, he said 50-50. He might as well have said he ain't playing, right? Kind of is that the gist you got out of it, Jeff?
No, I mean it was a twisted ankle at the end of the last basketball game. Is kind of what it was.
But I mean, you got the point that you got he, even though he said 50-50, you kind of walked away from he ain't playing.
No,
okay.
I really walk away. It's if he can play on it, if he can move around on it a little bit, I think he'll play tonight.
True game time decision.
I really do think it's a true game time decision. The way I took it, and I could be completely wrong. He could show up in a cast, and
God, I hope not.
I'm just saying,
So
it could
Coach,
very much be.
I think the question is Coach Adams the guy that's going to over-exaggerate it to make the opponent wonder? I didn't think his comments were just
no.
They didn't sound to me like there's no way he's playing.
Okay.
I think Coach Adams is decently straight up on that kind of stuff. So it didn't sound over-exaggerated to me.
Okay.
And it didn't sound like the sky is falling to me.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So I think he's going to play.
50-50. Speaking of casts, Jeff Haxton on Red Raider basketball with Mark Adams last night talked about Fardaws Amack and Jalen Tyson before the last game. Both of them were out on the court shooting. Of course, one's in a boot and one's on a trike. And they wanted to bet Haxton $100 that they could make a shot from a certain point. And Haxton said, no, not 100. I'll do 5. And both of them nailed the shot. Didn't even hit the rim. Now, the question is, has Haxton paid up the $5?
The question is pay for play. I mean, is Haxton a booster? A program going to be shut down now?
I don't know. I wondered that when he was talking about that. It's like, what are you doing, man?
You're listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
A little bit later on tonight, we'll have the Astros and the Diamondbacks. That'll be at 8. And then the Rangers playing at Seattle tonight.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah. I mean,
impressive?
Yeah.
Was it fascinating?
I thought it was fascinating. It kind of smelled, but I mean.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
All right, if your question is an eggnog recipe, Clay has one for us on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Homemade with a block of vanilla ice cream floating in it with a generous amount of good whiskey added as well. That's probably wasn't what you're looking for, though, is it? An eggnog recipe.
It's just the thought for me, and you guys know I'm a picky eater.
Mm-hmm.
It's the thought for me of drinking egg. That's just I can't go there.
I'm with you on that. And then finally I had some. You know the old try it, you like it, try it, you like. I finally did, and they're like, I like it.
Good. You're a better man than I am.
I'm with you though. That generally speaking, I can't do it.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Can't even imagine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. What's your question?
All right. So my question for you guys today is, what was your preseason prediction of Big 12 finish for the Red Raiders, and what is it now? Is it still the same? Is it better? Is it worse?
Oh, you're talking about basketball?
And basketball.
Okay.
Yes.
I was like, okay, we finished the football season.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Basketball.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Oh,
we
man.
could have been looking toward next football season
No,
for the
I
next
was just
year's
trying to think.
expectations.
Okay, I had us at 5-7, and we're going to finish, 8-5, maybe, maybe. Man, I don't think I did like a preseason. So let's see.
No, sure we did.
Yeah.
No, sure we did. We predicted where we thought they would finish in the
I'm
Big
just trying to
12.
remember what I said. I think I said 5. I'll just say I said 5.
Okay.
I think I said 5. I didn't.
And where are you now?
Where am I now? Gosh, man. I think I'm going to take it down. I might have been at 4. I'll say I was at 4. I'm going to put us down to 6.
Okay. Who are the 5 that you have in front of the Red Raiders, if you don't mind me asking?
No, at this point in time, give me 2 seconds here.
No, it should be in your mind. You're not like just looking at the standings.
Right, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Just kind of so I can make sure I have all the teams. I just got to make sure I got all the teams. Okay, I think at this point in time,
Kansas, Baylor, Texas.
No,
Yes.
I don't.
All 3. Yes.
All 3 of those were in the top 5. I think I would put Texas ahead, although now with the coaching change and another coaching change coming, I think I'm going to say Texas, Kansas, Baylor, TCU, Iowa State. So that's 5. And then Texas Tech, 6.
So you're not impressed with K-State's 9-1?
Would he be impressed if they were 22-0?
Yeah. Oh no, I probably should be. Let me look and see who they haven't played anybody. I mean, they lost to Butler. They beat Dudas State. They beat Abilene Christian. They beat
exactly who have the Red Raiders beat that's been more impressive?
They beat
K-State?
Incarnate Word. Well, I think that Tech's got a better team than K-State. I think he's just got more talent. I have not seen K-State play very much though. So
K-State did well in the transfer portal for that.
Sure. Mm-hmm. There's probably some bias in there for me. Skosh, maybe. Jeff?
Preseason, I had them in the 4, 5, 6 range, if I remember correctly. Because I think those 3 teams are interchangeable. I thought you had 3 definite teams that are out in front of everybody with Kansas, Texas, and Baylor. And then you've got Tech and TCU and I guess now probably Kansas State I'd put in this conversation that I think they've worked themselves up to this point. Mm-hmm. Of those, I think you're at 6 now because I do think Kansas State's playing better than you are right now.
Okay.
I think TCU is absolutely playing better than you are right now. So I'm going with 6 at this point, where I expect them to finish now.
Okay, so I definitely am with Jeff and feeling like those first 3 were givens.
What's the first 3?
Kansas, Baylor, Texas.
In that order?
Yes, mine is in that order.
I would have had Texas ahead of Baylor, but I feel like this
coaching changes
is going to just the drama and the distraction and all that is going to affect this team. It's hard for me not to put Iowa State ahead of the Red Raiders as well. TCU, I think, is right there with the Red Raiders. TCU got off to a slow start. They've dealt with some injuries, struggles as well. But I think I'm gonna have the Red Raiders at 5 because and I know where you are right now and I know what it looks like right now. You are going to add to the mix, and part of this is on the news that AMAC's supposed to get his cast off and we'll be back in a few weeks. Even if he's not back for the start of Big 12 play, if it's another week after that, whatever. That was a huge get for the Red Raiders. Massive, literally, because he's nearly a 7-footer, Chuck. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I
but
know.
He is.
I'm going to take my tape measure over there.
You should do that.
What if he's only 6'10"?
Well, I was really disappointed when Bacho told me that he was barely 6'10".
So I just think that AMAC is going to make a huge difference for the Red Raiders. Huge difference. Rebounding, affecting shots, interior presence, offensive putbacks. I just think he's going to make you so much better. And so I think I don't want to push the Red Raiders anywhere if I'm predicting what it's going to be at the end of the season any farther than 5, because I just think that you're getting a midseason acquisition here that is going to be a legit help.
What does Hexon call him? The Big Maple?
I have no idea.
I think he calls him the Big Maple.
He's big, like big maple tree.
Yeah, right.
Okay, he's big.
Yeah, he calls him the Big Maple.
Okay.
He calls him.
All right. Does he like pancakes?
I don't know. I don't know if he likes.
Does he tell syrupy jokes?
Do you like Log Cabin or Aunt Jemima on your syrup for your deal?
Yep.
I like the Log Cabin. That
like
was my
both.
preference.
Getting your sports day started the right way. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, breaking down the biggest games.
If Texas Tech does not win the Big 12 football conference, who are you rooting for to win the conference if Tech does not win it this year?
Well, busting some chops along the way.
I hold back on sending you stuff. I'm very, very, very judicious.
We spend 3 hours a day, 5 days a week together. Why would we need to communicate during the weekends?
Right,
Save it for the show.
We do. We save it for the show.
Tune into the Morning Drive live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you this morning from the First United Bank studio. Look forward to hearing from you on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, or the mobile app. Benchmark hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. We get this from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I can relate to this as well. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about Coach Leach. I'm 62, and this hits close to home. I'm the same age. Coach Leach is 61. I will keep praying for him and his wife and family. Coach Leach was the greatest coach in Texas Tech football history. #Wreck'emCoach. Yeah, it is a very, very sad story. We get this question. Is Chris Beard Billy Gillespie 2.0? Billy had his demons. And Chris Beard, I think it appears, has some different demons, although maybe I don't know. I don't know what the deal is there. I think the biggest question that somebody else asked, will Chris Beard be coaching Division I basketball after January 1? I don't think so. I have to think that Texas saw what you saw and what we all saw yesterday, anybody that looked at the YouTube video or the video of Chris Beard appearing in jail clothes, in handcuffs, basically standing before a judge, albeit on Zoom, to get his bond, and then the mugshot. And I've got to think at Texas and at any school that when you see somebody that you have trusted your second highest profile, and it doesn't even matter if it's your 33rd highest profile sport, somebody that's in charge of young men in a program in that manner. We all make mistakes, but that doesn't mean that you get to, that you always get to have what you just had, even if you say, I'm sorry. I think there's going to be a heavy penalty here for Chris Beard, and I think it's going to be one where he is dismissed pretty quickly once they kind of adjudicate the contract of his, and maybe they have some kind of small settlement. But maybe they just say, hey, you can't do that here, and you can't coach here anymore, and we are terminating your contract.
Yeah, I mean, hearing the report that the victim supposedly didn't want to have any charges pressed, okay, makes me believe that Chris Beard is not going to is not going to end up in jail. Okay, you agree with that? You think he's going to end up in jail?
No,
I don't. But I still think that doesn't mean that Texas is going to say, okay, well, we can still have this guy as our head coach.
Yeah,
I think those are two completely different things.
I do too.
And I think the damage has already been done. And unfortunately, there's a situation many times where you'll see the female in this situation who's scared for her life at one moment, but then afterwards doesn't want charges pressed against her husband, boyfriend, whatever, for whatever reason, maybe because of fear or whatever. Yeah, which is extremely sad. And you see that kind of go down, and
we've seen that all too often.
Right, that's exactly right. So anyway, I don't think he's going to end up in jail, but I don't think the Longhorns will keep him on board, and I don't think he'll be coaching Division I basketball anytime soon.
Yeah. Getting this report just now. This is just posted, and it's just breaking. Mike Leach has passed away after complications related to a heart condition. The school has announced, Mississippi State has announced, Mike Leach was 61 years old. Suffered what the university initially described as a personal health issue at his home in Starkville on Sunday. He was airlifted to the University of Mississippi Medical Center in Jackson, which is about 125 miles from Mississippi State. He was in his third season. He had told ESPN after the regular season, concluded that he struggled with pneumonia during the season, but was feeling better. Mike Leach dead at 61 years old. Sad, sad news. He was 19 and 17 there at Mississippi State. Of course, he coached at Texas Tech from 2000 to 2009, and at Washington State from 2012 to 2019. He was the National Coach of the Year at Washington State in 2018. So 158 and 107 in 21 seasons as a head coach, known for his quirky personality, dry wit, penchant for talking about history, business, politics, really just about anything.
Geronimo.
JFK. He loved to talk about JFK. I remember one time at a Mike Leach coach's show. We started carrying Coach Leach's show on one of our stations in 2007. And I remember one time just saying something about JFK, and he looked at me, and his eyes just got really wide, and he said, "Is there something new?" I said, No. There's nothing new today. I said, but I'm really curious about it, and we ended up talking about it for a little bit. I remember him asking people if, because Coach Leach was the first coach at Texas Tech where I was older than the head coach, but we're within a few months of each other. I mean, he would have been 62 just after the first of the year, I think in March or something. But he grew up in Cody, Wyoming, and he talked about you're either Davy Crockett guy or a Batman guy. Daniel Boone, the Daniel Boone Show. So either Daniel Boone or Davy Crockett or you're Batman. And what are you? I'm like, I'm a Batman guy, like the old Batman. The Adam West Batman. So I just incredibly sad. I mean, I wish it had ended better here. Wish that it could have been resolved at some point in time, but I don't know that it was ever going to be resolved. And maybe the resolvement was for Tech fans in some degree was winning last year in the Liberty Bowl.
Kind of put it to rest a little bit. Yeah, you could just kind of move on maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would love to see Coach Leach be honored here, but I'm not in that athletic department, and I know there were a lot of things said by him and done by him that were, pretty vicious against the university and the athletic department, and so I couldn't be critical of our athletic department for not going out of their way. But I thought it was extremely classy yesterday, what they had up on the video board about Coach Leach and swing your sword one more time and all that good stuff. I just, I would love for that, like you said, to be resolved between the two sides. And I hate that, obviously, Coach Leach passing, it's never going to be like that it was truly resolved because he was a part of it.
Yeah, I was hoping that he would come back on campus at some day, but I was fearful he would have been a very old man.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.